Hello, how are y'all doing? I am Cheryl, and you are with Life Without a Witness. Thank you so much for being here. This is episode 2 of Tales from Eternity, as you see up there in the corner. So I'm going to read two more stories tonight and then give a little commentary on both of them. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Now, the first one is You Can't Come In. And I have to say, I heard something like this from what is his name? Mm, I don't remember his name. He has like that 12-step process. But anyway, so he's talking about how back when I was writing these stories, he was talking about oneness and stuff like that, okay? And he told a story something like this. All right, so you can't come in. I grew up knowing that heaven was the place to be. Heaven was the ultimate goal, the final destination, the end of the road. When all was said and done, after death, you could go to one of two places, heaven or hell. This meant that in life, you had to choose one of two sides, Satan and his minions, or God and his angels. After hearing the pros and cons of each side and weighing my options, it was a no brainer. I chose to be on God's side. Once I made that choice, I was quite happy about it. I was also excited to know that I could accumulate rewards in this life and the next by doing good deeds. For this reason, I was the most devoted church going, choir singing, Jesus loving little 12-year-old Christian in my entire community. I did everything right and by the book. If I felt as if I had deviated even a little, then I repented, was forgiven, and moved on to go and sin no more. I see now that I'm always making the choice between heaven and hell, and most days I choose hell. Heaven is symbolic and is simply the state of never needing to make a choice. Hell is choosing. And what is a choice? A choice is not something you do. A choice is what you are. The closest I can get to describing choice is the word movement. Choice is movement. Here's a story to illustrate what I mean. I've modified it a bit based on another story I heard similar to this one. One day, I decided I was ready to go to heaven. So I knocked on the door and God answered. God, I said, I'm ready to come into heaven. Cheryl, he said, you cannot come in. I was a little surprised, but it wasn't a big deal. I mean, I was only 17 years old, and I figured I had more sacrifices to make and more work to do for him on earth. So I worked harder. I finished school, got married, and hit a few sin bumps in the road, like fornication, anger, envy, you know the list. However, I returned to the straight and narrow and began to go to church. I even got my husband involved and began going regularly with my family. I prayed a lot, witnessed a lot, sang in the choir, gave tithes and offerings, and lived what I thought was a very good Christian life. 17 years later, I was again ready for heaven. I went up to the door, knocked confidently, and said, God, this is Cheryl. I'm ready to come in. God again answered the door and said, Cheryl, you cannot come in. What? This is bullshit, I thought. Of course, I didn't say that to God. As I was again turned away, I thought, why am I doing all this holy living if it isn't getting me anywhere? What's the point? My life on earth is miserable, and apparently heaven isn't for me either. I may as well do what I want if all I keep getting is Cheryl, you can't come in, said in my God voice. So that's what I did. I stopped going to church and made the 7 deadly sins my bucket list. I partied, slept around, lied, cheated, drank, and everything else I could do without deliberately killing myself. One day I got into a little trouble that left me fighting for my life. I knew that I had totally turned my back on God, but I had to try one more time. I went to heaven's door and knocked. Again, God was there. God, I said, I'm ready to come in now. Cheryl, he said, you cannot come in. At that moment, I got it. I understood. With that understanding, the gates opened and I stepped into heaven. What I understood was there are no individuals in heaven. Heaven is complete, unbroken, and whole. Cheryl could not get in because Cheryl is an individual person separate from other people. There is no separation in heaven. There are no individual parts in wholeness. You cannot be your own person in heaven. God does not know individual people. There is no movement in stillness and no stillness in movement. There is no heaven and hell or hell and heaven. None of these can be known because there is no line of separation to know them. God does not know anything because he is everything and you are he. Yet, here we are. So that story, I wrote this because heaven and hell is a huge deal. I mean, a big deal, when it comes to the religion that I grew up in. I mean, every day that's what you're thinking about, doing stuff to be sure you're not, like, in case you just get hit by a bus or something, you know how your mama tell you to have on clean drawers. Well, have on clean drawers and have a clean conscience that you've done everything you need to do just in case, the Lord comes back or whatever. Heaven and hell was the thing. Okay. And you choosing between those two and the life you wanted to live to get to one or the other. Okay. So when I had the realization, and I very clearly saw that if I go to hell, everybody's going. Okay. And if I go to heaven, everybody's going. Okay. This story could have just as well been Satan let me in. Okay. And he would have been like, you can't come in. You know what I mean? Because it's like, wherever I go, you go. Which back then was not a pleasant idea because there was a lot of people I didn't like. Okay. And it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, how can I, like, she is here too? Like, how is that possible? But, there was a lot of, I hate to say ego. I don't like that word. Like, I was just mad, child. Let me just say it like that. Okay. But I had to get over that. Like, I really did. I didn't have to get over it. I chose to just get over it, get over it. Now I can still, like this doesn't change the narrative that I tell. I'm still Cheryl and this is life without a witness and you're whoever the hell you are and all, you got your own thing going on, right? So yes, there is still division, but there's no separation. Those are two different things. You know how when you look at videos of how babies are made, not on Pornhub, I'm talking about on like medical videos and all that stuff, right? And they show you how the cells divide. Okay, so the cells come together and then that one cell divides. It's dividing, but it's still one cell. It's divided, but it's not separated. Okay, that's what's going on here. Yeah, we are individual people. Okay, there are individual things here. I can point to this, which is not that, but in reality, all of this, like, there is no Cheryl here without, you see what's in my background? If the background wasn't there, this would not be here. Okay, you wouldn't see this. It's all one thing. Okay. Everything you see on your screen right now is Cheryl. The chair, the wall, the curtains, the computer, or it's computer. I mean, whatever you want, it don't matter. Okay. It's all divided, but not separate. Okay. Okay, so the next story. What are words exactly? Now, y'all know I love me some words. Okay, I love to talk, I love to write, I love to read, all of that. All right, it looks like my connection is really low, so I hope I'm not freezing or anything. So let me go ahead with the story. What are words exactly? I love words. I love the way they sound, the way they feel on the tongue and the lips. Some of my favorite words are plethora, fortuitous, plenary, quiet, and deleterious. Because I love them so much, I began thinking about what they are. First of all, they're sounds, funny sounds. I've noticed that if I keep repeating my name, Cheryl, 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 it's transformed from a name to just a funny sound. Cheryl is simply the funny sound that I answer to. It isn't really who I am. So words are sounds. What else? Well, they're sensation, a beautiful dance of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the throat, and the breath. Say the word abominable. How does it feel on the lips, tongue, teeth, and throat? Do you see how they all play a part? Anything else? Well, there are sometimes flighty, ephemeral images in the mind. For instance, if I think of the word cup, I don't see the actual letters in my mind, but there is a wisp or a tickle of some impression or image of a cup. So what are words? Words are flighty, funny wisps of the ephemeral that tickle and dance around the senses. It isn't Webster, but it's the best I could do in a pinch. Words are just as alive as the leaves on trees. They're just as unique as individual snowflakes. They're just as free as the waves on the ocean. They cannot be pinned down and confined. So who am I to impose my will on the sound the word cup makes and demand that it be a noun and a small open container, usually having a handle and used chiefly as a receptacle from which to drink? Maybe it doesn't want to be a noun, forever static and imprisoned on an image. Maybe the funny sound wants to be something else, like the happenings that we label vase, river, cloud, or silence. Or what about the sound blue? Maybe blue would prefer to be something else other than the primary color between green and violet. How confining, never to move from that position, only to be called on in certain situations, never to be the free, ephemeral, flighty, funny sound that likes to dance around and tickle the senses. The most loving thing we can do is let funny sounds like blue, cup, Cheryl, and insert your name here, be whatever they want to be, and not imprison them in an image like a sky, a container, or a body. By freeing the word, we free the image as well, and let it just be whatever it is with no confining roles or judgments. In reality, everyone and everything may dance about however they wish. So thank you, funny sounds and images. Thank you for helping me to navigate this world, but I don't truly believe that you are those things. I won't hold you to them. You're free to be or not be whatever you like. And consequently, your freedom is mine. So this story, I remember like really enjoying writing this story because I do love words so much. And what I found was that I had to, this story, really helped me see how I keep saying I didn't have to. It's like I was willing, that's the word. I was willing to let go of a lot of things, you know. Which is scary. It's really, really scary to let go of what I know about what I say and see and the words I hear, and when I'm talking aloud or thinking in my mind. Like, go ahead, okay, blue cup, okay, for the moment. But after that, you're whatever it is what it is, whatever you want to be. Okay. And the same was true for me, when I was looking at that. Well, Cheryl, I mean, I am not confined. How many letters is Cheryl? Cheryl. 6 letters. That's not me. Okay, when somebody says it, and I'm around, I might look, see if they're talking to me, but I know that's not me. Okay. I'm not 6 letters. All right. Or whatever the label is. Mom. Okay, for the moment, okay. But after that, it's like, I am what I am. Okay. So that was a fun story. That was a fun story to write. And it's a paradox. In order to have more control, you have to let go of it. You know, and that's what I found, and that's what that story, was about. Okay, so I'm gonna see y'all back here for episode 3 when I read 2 more stories from Tales from Eternity. So thank you so much for watching the video. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. And I'm gonna see you back here next time. Y'all have a